Honorable Akwasi Konadu on Zoom to really find out how the committee is also taking it. Manhyia North MP, no ending commerces here. Honorable Otemen Kame watching about Kessben matches so on 92.9 FM so Kessben TV.
Meto nka minia mesmeje osu ebura no pay.
Yede radia se bibia ekoyie ona mo me hya se ni nkomo a me sure say what the course so and so what even on Saturday that 1st November day no hwidem ni broni chrome issues ACC wo hono 9 most versus citizens in wo hono but 2 MPs are involved but the entire any would nkomo has to do with penyini a we be ka chairman ma wawo committee you know make lands and natural resource ono so ni din abepie mora Collins Dauda. First of one kasa as MP, what say you know, send a what you know, and how do you Obibeka see it? I mean, with regards to Naimos and what really transpired what you did, know.
Many Amanda was Namachao, a TF1 Yakiphone. I first want to put in perspective. You've mentioned 2 members of Parliament, AD.
Yes.
On that fateful day, no. And we all recall, and I am very much aware. The chairman now born Dura Collins Dauda.
Yeah.
No, Ghana. He was in South Africa for Pan-African Parliament.
Sure. So
he was physically not in Ghana.
True.
Ura Kwado de na or Ghana.
Okay.
So the argument and the conversation was centered on that.
Sure.
Second, a day na omo ye ewo hwidim. Any new kruma a coffee and tokwe in Adebaye.
Yeah.
No move to Galamsey, very close to the road. Now there are no more year crowds and they say, oh, maybe be a friend Lakey, where they are using cyanide to catch the gold. Now me know me and to say cyanide because of Minamata convention I sign a wood dry ye ditchy gold and I see the two from a good dear no ya bra. I Ghana to say yintimi news to say to be in the previous administration we were using modern equipment to say gold catchers to do that.
Yeah.
And a 9 Musa abide diaba. Even in our perspective, we believe say the effort that 9 Musa is putting in the crown ain't mean konkuye the ye pet sebit me abuamo or mino infu one inquire infu sase any more agudiano you bet me by eliminating or taking off illegal mining activity. But ebeyebi no mukotoye say Grofo ye maboni a yabra se meye nyeni bi no che wo. And what did anybody do? What the MP is allegedly to have been done, seen on video, and money they say he first came there with 20 armed men, telling the Operation Naimos people say, Omunya microphone momunko because they are their people. And you see, ye can mesi asem so yese nanu asemunti. And the man you may be say by my GDA. Se bibia no itwa asem bi de hon ya dance because ye campaign afi twa mu na afi asem ye nuanom NDC no mutri mu po nyina ne se on bebetumi mu. So whilst they were out here campaigning vigorously against illegal small scale mining activities they were in the pit telling them say moto amama John Dramani Mahama bano be mampanyini a obeboa na masa back akoye na mpanyampa bi ditu no moto amano aba to the lip service that they paid to the fight against Galamsey no and then rantie na ekwa na ache wo mu a e wo so omkonom ko defend wo no mu ye jai wo mu. The sad part and the irony of this they say nipa ya chi wo mu no mu kura akodie wo etuo yesi bi to 21 rounds na bi nya Ghana for krebi e Burkina base a omu ma ya chi wo mu but he forcibly went there asking that they be released. Operation Naimos for Nantiasia. They ended up giving them to the police. Then it is alleged, and we see by evidence and the crew show been say, Omu boabu any perco ahensiano. So mumra, no mumeje or muncroft no, or dear mammy a job muncroft no sebi. Yachu or more quite bones destroying vehicles, ammonia dear, and even took the intervention of a chief man and sana yet me a day. Ama Operation Naimos for no etimiako. And they ended up freeing the people. Microphone to me gane the koi. Omo koi. And that is where we are. Now dear who woman say Sebi. one no yeso mo ko brawu no na mo de mpafin eso mo ne be yi me kan say makowi say operation 9 muso mo ye aban enkrofo a mo hye ntade a yen yato ama wo mo kura tuo no empo ne ye bu wo mo say so mo kutia galamse led by people political actors ene speaker had cause to complain evidence abound because minia OTB in the chamber we were told say the interior minister called for the invitation of the member of parliament to the police CID they arranged him to the police station and we had no court we could guarantee him bail. I find this as a bit of a charade. I didn't make us and ten benso charge ben ya de bono ya na me no to him charge ya de bono and once you question man 150 yeah ne sa aban ne ne sa na kwesre media me ncha hu me ya tie se obi hu bo mu aso eminipo nyiminipo me ade ne ko. So today you be gagged e be so okon say okoka bia de do be ka chi wan say enye na ye chi ne hu nipa so wo mu ko na kwa akogina court no e de na aba ya me ni abangadi when we say they were referred to Yoko. That is where our fear is. But when the men no what struck me razy Mayma I made that statement that call for the discussion that we had yesterday and say one the number of deaths anyhow illegal small scale mining activities both direct death and indirect death. Direct death in the sense say I'm nani bugum kum nipa nibi between January of this year and June alone nipa 17. If I'm to add up to September, we are working in the neighborhood of about 35 individuals. They have dependents. They are called, and embolden a nipanum etia the fight against illegal small scale mining activities. Why do I say so? So more. I think three morning na no be na mrante ni bia pagya yemu. Na ye ni asranfo ni approach for so mo nkobo ban entia illegal small scale mining activities no. No mo no manyanhie mu. Ebi sie e me nipa nwotwe bi mu ya fiase. Ebi emu so no so obeka ya enche pi. Ewo agresum area mu ho. Ene nipa ni bi bo dompem ni asranfo bi mu hie mu ni ade a se bituo kasama ese assembly member bi ye den ewuye. Na sene yene ayen panyifo ni ebedi dom anim. Se ya chi obi edne famra kwan so sabi. Se nipa ni nya involved in the activity a ye jani mo kwa emrani betimi na yeden e de ani di ne ho besan no anya ne ho ayeden atete e den ye kodi animu. We are breeding bandits. One adachi bi no besori de atia o man na sumdue because the ekoi de minua so wo afudie wo ho a emfa ho enye nwanwa se wasase da ho no obi betimi akon ho abomu no aba no de afidie si so so oba betu illegal small scale mining activity ni bi ewo so tina ho be nya se one ye betwe adwene si so ni atwe mampanyine ne na pamfo adwene si so se de air konisese ano ya ayeden se betimi adu se betimi aboabo adom ano na ye de won aba aprosifo nsem se wotie kenobua oye the leader of Naimus commander nanu asem o se ne wudwiri ne ye ne hu na ne yam se no kra ma ono ankasa ne nko because eniama bi si na adwene mu emire bi etwa mu yen kai o man no ne awofo ne awarefo ne emma bi yawo ewo denchaboase asem bi sa si wo ho emma osre ni bi hwe ne nkwa ti so we commander so we nipa hensia ena mebo o maba so se otimi kura won ho oso wakodi ekura won mu na impo no onkwada adegye mu mpo no oyire won ho se omma enu ntu onsintu dia so obebo won ho ban wo hariso na kofa torrentemaba ti de me sa ye ka ene ni se one homa mpanyini de akona no ya ye di mini ahwe ene ubusa forestry commission fo a na ubusa won na oye forest resources management ho ensem a ye nkwa ye ni mu resources ye timber ebi ya medicinal emoni ade no ene ni nyina eko de ye dua importuring green Ghana kran ene ye tu agu de tu galamsey. That is how hard it is. Indigenous plants and trees and ye wo or tear from odum dangoma emoni ade and we are not having them because you're tuning in ade go. The natural habitat of our animals are na ye wo kwaye ne doso ana emuadoma bi wo mu a ene yetu ni na ade aguo no. We are heading towards an ecological extension. Eba ne sa so human beings yet asase so your mind gan me obekire. Ti de so man panyin ne say entem hariso. Memo amfa ne men say ye ya me di nipa na kogina ho wetre na sam enu ntine de ye busa ye hyese mra no opposition no mo ka kire say apamfo bebre betia bobo ndi ene current minister Owuraboa, current foreign affairs minister Kujato, current education minister Haruna Edusu, ene dudu bebre Sam George mo jatamu nyina ene o mampani na no ogitu mu ne say yemfa tabo ento so because me nua ya hwe ni ya de o ka se ya de be ka kire say enra de na wo ye enra wo say ya futuo wo kwan paso ba de nyese ya di nwa no se ya be ye bone ne. If anybody would want to justify to me, say na ye kan ba be bisa say enra na mo wa ben mu de na mo ye ya, assume say de ne ye na enra no na enye enu nti no ene aba na ye di enra bone se sa na ne ye ka no ebe yi ye ho no e wo dwiri na ye di ho a na ye wo ho na so mfa so pama ye no ene de ade na ne identify na wo se ha ye ho a bebusa me say enra de na wo ye ne na ade na be ka say no so be ka ye ka say niema wo ho ase ye resu ne ye ni yi a ebetimi abo man panyin aka kire wa se de o se niema e wo so ye di si ano kwan no onya nyenwie no akodi state of emergency ebi ne de ade ebi ni operation Nimbus ni operation Halt ye operation Vanguard mo ho e de na asese o me kai pa se ne de asrafo ekọ se omunko no munkotu asiesa ye nuanom ewo NDC no mo abem ka kire se eni kwansi ye sa ne de asrafo pamomo omba nya no anomo ye e de na asese wo ho one day no crowd they were brainase because they would want their people by the promises that they gave them so betimi akwaye eno money adem minia etisi ahwe ni year ye de mradade eden kikaye say ya no money adem no oman no asesi eno ni ade ha me enti ema enra the page mu come and penny say the country needs so reset here which he cannot even do, but he is raising the positive gains na yenya ye no a ye bese no. He should not erase our future by being say otina wa bra onye hwe no ye hwe han no de mrada de eyi ne ho ano o say so ogu galamsey a enipa 4 million enya adwuma nyem na meka on ne kan it means and the policy on wa krasa wo so de be ma emrantie ne maba wa mabunu nsa ne dwuma no ene adwuma oni on de 133 ba yes 24-hour economy so ofu so betimi ahen ke betimi nipa every say adwuma die ni
okay
o say so sa braso a emwa oman ni sikasem because enumu nene onya gold cotton a etimi bua no mo de financing the economy o de trimu po we bu man a emwa you must be willing to take the bold decisions.
Honorable, before I even ask these questions that I want to ask that we're reasoning now, I think on Penny Diano, if I got it right, I think he was saying, say, in case you find it's a worst scenario, sorry, Galamsey for no two, two, na ton ama a friend is saying, a month when some fata say, yeah, the more. Nempo no krano se gold board for a better. It makes sense to the nation to really make a whole structured where you bit me you seek back. What it meant was that then it means that even when they were doing it illegal, they were still selling it illegally. I mean, to certain people. Now we have a refined area. That was how I got to understand it from that angle anyway. But clearly, you did mention, sir, the interior minister called the MP to do that. I mean, Uncle Police and all that. Are you not okay with that? Are you not seeing it as a positive one rather than to see it to say as a henya being your friend is the interior ministry or the government is doing? Is it not a quick proactiveness coming from the government, Anna?
What was happening? Okay. About Oman Penny to say it is better for us to destroy our forest and get the resources by selling to ourselves than rather to sell to foreigners. No. Can I say one can say it is better to destroy or say yes? Almost say no. Yes, you do say okay,
But the point is that say gold on you beton illegally amu be na say you beton correctly ama buying for buying to get the same mineral na sebi in as much as eye bonne say what to illegal no crana it's not good.
Okay. Why would you have to buy? Why should you allow an illegal activity and benefit from that illegal activity? Yes, you talk on the DNA, you talk on the DNA na sebi. One in an you broken for you mubi and I'm a other na umbra, but you are encouraging it. Say a fadium, me make an institution or the better sadium or those semi say yeboni. Bra, nasa kadiana air cost in a swim track. But so catch me say, although say no boka kotwama bontin swimming, it is a said ya mamia mean to sebeya and one for swen bebo minor. You are encouraging that. I also be odia wu. No dia adodo dia befi. Osi se first wa dia dodo dia bebe fie no so nko odbekwa bontene no dia dodo dia bebe fie dia ma menyi ntum se oniewu. That is what he is trying to tell us. The American say ade no illegal. Why must you set up a body to buy from the proceeds of an illegal activity? If that is what he meant, and that is the explanation that I get from him, I think it is wrong. That is why we call say your best sense unfathomable and to so. Sabeya anye bian. Let me give you an example and why I believe that it is right. Okay. And as I speak with you now, the Minerals Commission and the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has revoked small-scale licensing.
Yeah, sure.
Say I'm for quite pemuniatia and it be a debate. Say some point that here and a warrior and then no crime person and can make answer say Fatabo tuning in us will be a nyedman. Obi anko kwa ye mu kotu se mikura na minkwa nemra na wohwehwe mu mpo sabe ya wohwehwe mu wie na hunu de ya afi na watimi de nhyehyɛ ya to de ya ne ho mu nkoma kwa kwa ye adwuma ba wo gina nkan ni mu na atete nkan ni ebede na ho ato ho bekoso adwawo. That is the problem we find now, but they will still want to continue send niema na emwa oman na ho de ne nkan ko ne nkoso, but because there will be a benefit from it to the state nintino yamwa na ebi asa abone ne nkoso. That I disagree. Secondly, to the point that you raised, that the call by the Interior Minister, it's a call in the right direction. Yes, I agree with that. Okay. That it is a call in the right direction. Why not? Nobody should be above the law. But yes, by rebel bar, I am a woman. Yes, CNN, I am a fatu de my enra semunti, and my own and a between them. We saw a question. In July, there was a referral to Yoku of two individuals by name Yamin, the Ashanti Regional, the national organizer of the NDC, and Abanga, one of the vice of the NDC, as a media journalist. A dear na what you have from July to November. So what you be from Ubi Mabusa? Catch me.
The letters that I heard was when I think the president met the CSOs, you know, and then Attorney General came in. Ubi bisa sa question na ubi sana, and then I think the Attorney General did say or train a docket. I think he says he was waiting for investigations from Yokomu. Then he will proceed from there. But I haven't heard anything beyond that.
Perfect. It's all train. Investigation.
Yes.
What we are proceeding. Good. And let me ask you, what charges? Charges ben do ben and a wati. Say the member of parliament is here granting the bail on what charges. Say better grantee bail. It means you've been indicted of something. You've been charged of an offense. And I'm a boy ya bo do be. A dear do na wati. Say ya born into your money bail.
Okay.
So just say, and it will be a call in the right direction. No problem. But then maker say that should not be used as a small screen. And me and Fanyan Katemu na Emma dear or say because I know copies are a working and yet a call in the right direction. Say what from your it is a call in the right direction. But I feel we are 7 nebus. I won't say quite do ben ye diabono. And na so ben ye de a dear one ye man bail no money at him. And anytime see a by any baba. Ejina home and so I say and anunti na ma make the making.
Okay.
See a beya niema ne be ne kwan paso ma gidia be ma menye timanfo anyemu gidia. It is important we are open, transparent and fair about some of the things that we are doing. Or see me pepe ye inhumu ene na die kama ebe mu. Otherwise most people would take it say, oh, the tia netie, ye kasa won nansa, na so atwa na asemfo Friday, ababe boom. Emwa ekona ye pese ye kon, editia small scale illegal mining activity A2 or minus in the ATM.
Okay. Honorable, just last two questions now, Manhyia. One has to do with your take on this question, whether we are really losing the fight when it comes to Galamsey. I mean, from 8 years ago down to just about 9 months now, are we losing it, or there's some form of hope? And then the other one has to do with more committee, Now there are two issues: the NIMOS one, and then I had Yankasa Honorable for Oda MP Honorable Akwasi Konadu. Raise the issue has to do with the Birem Central MCE. So the meaning say no so abetomo now so abetomo now so a na committee ni betimi ayafa ho. Wadama.
Edikai, are we losing the fight? And you make reference to 8 years and 9 months.
Yes.
If you limit it and box it, S1, M1, because illegal small scale mining activity, it transcends 8 years, it transcends 9 months. It escalated in 2012, 2014 money idea. That is why I said the references that we make and we can make it say, are we losing the fight against Galamsey? Because we are talking about today, and then you didn't come on. Enra ni yeni enra biemu. Enra yeni enra biemu. And then you want it now. So we are looking at today and tomorrow. The betting yes here. Ebeboa ana emu benyan sunsun asopa ana bone ewo nipa yewo man ni mono so ana. That is where our discussion must be focused. And I will say me gina ene niema mi hunu a. We've lost the fight against small scale mining activities. And I don't see the hope if we continuously do the same thing that we are doing here. Because if you look at the discussion, our brothers on the other side, whilst we were trying to proffer solutions, their interest was to go about the NC and using that to justify their inactions today.
But Honorable, quick one, why can't we use history to represent the future? Where institutions will be a seen, no, baby say I mean, clearly there were prefer solutions among the buyer banning 1 year from mining. Yet we saw those petty ones that were happening within the space. I mean, the Operation Vanguard Ninema by solutions were preferred around that time till now. So when I mention Obibeka said since you say and now Ebiana say some 2 years ago, 1 year ago, na ne can want some na yen to me enko na mana be pie Obibeka just about 9 months. Anna
9 months is not just. Now Mami Musa, you ask a specific question. I say why can't we use history?
Yes.
History should be a guide, but not a justification of our iniquities today.
Agreed.
I was say a quine a threat. Nanya idea was ye did die your own so away you seen Tony and Mray any a boa payo and what is it? What can Bible catch or sis and Kaya by a Janu pencil and Kaya Yenya or Moye Yeno, but yet Janu pencil and only a big die and what this a yet Januni woman and for so many. So you are justifying today's wrong with the past. Of what benefit would that be for the future? Use that as a guide. Many Susan saw a quaint anything in name out. Rather than so would be you one or Bonnie away and if I saw Ben in Chima Benamo.
Okay.
But what the mechanism? That is where I come from. I don't have a problem when you want to reference that as a guide. If you are ye say no, I say in ne, am I ye say? It was to say a babe one na M1. Fedi. But what say, Enra a ye say in the other near canina. Ninia, then you want yadi. And no yadi men per se, ye bay because yes, sir, a bessie a quine, away a nim Jenny and Wunimu, Sabetlami a danger, say Pabetria quine away. The country was the future generation will suffer, and we will suffer and would have failed the future generation. And that is why I am worried.
All right.
I believe that. Let us use the future as a guide, but not the justification.
Okay. But quick one, Birem Central, the Anomate.
Yeah, okay. So you are going to sit on it. But I believe, say, if there is clear evidence on the part of an executive, the president must act and act very swift. He's the representative of the president.
Yeah.
And if he can go write receipt for an illegal activity to legalize it against the constitution and the laws, I believe any crime the president should have acted. The chief of staff should have acted, because all of these individuals act and perform at the behest of the president as their representatives. And if there is this clear, I don't even believe your friend Impo Busana no asem, because they feel say one of these stories that we'll talk about it in 2 days and it will go. But you see, when people like you and I and all of us agree that this is where we are, this is where we want to be, and these are the examples and the roadmaps that we must put in place, I believe that these individuals must be called and reports made on them regularly. Okay. So that obi wo baby na oye bia obe wo say me nua ye o brimu ade say tu nu say na koko wie nu enti o say me mama na mo no ye pe say enti mi nya de ye kroje nkra no eye pe. So I believe say the president and the executive must act even before we bring our recommendation. Na ko otimi ya hu bibia nkebebo, because e yanti anu di sem bia yanti se bia ya freni panimpo. I think it is worrying, very worrying.
Okay. All right. Honorable Medas, because this one becomes a public interest story, and I say Obibeka, sometimes we love to see the public see what is really happening. In case you have a committee to look into the matters of Hudiemu and even get videos, corporate or TV and all that. Would you want to see it being beamed live for every Ghanaian to see? In terms of yet to Tomano, we want to find out these two MPs and beyond. I mean, what really transpired? Would you prefer seeing it out there for everybody to see, Ghanaians to see?
I don't believe say bibia besi won kwa se de beto abonten no bibia ho. Na ye hweso de dia mawo say ukoye say na beto. So that when the punishment another retribution ba ebesia kwansidie na debia na wonipa no betirim say onkoye bi. It will be nice for the cameras to be there. Na nipa nche ade a obo mu boom sa eduko pro station hokoye do uwe ya so won ka ne si wono say na ne asia bone hwehwe en so won say na ana aposi for every impo obey operation most for ni bi money ade because ehun abowo mo ehun abowo mo because no osuoma won kwa say betimi akwa adua because the numbers that they saw and you and I saw in the video ehun no mini emwa it say bi ba yeso yan so kanea emfa nhye kanea apunya nase na the sister say be share many pen na yeden ehun ekwan mu it me believe say banisa na ebe dia tuma because currently class obe hu mu a nsem bi wa na yedi ni Supreme Court na yetimi bi mu ne life
no
so that at least we learn from it and know say there is fairness, transparency and accountability for all of these individuals for both the accused and also for the state. It is not only the person is proven innocent until proven guilty. So open, if the person evidence meaning ba na ye wie ni wo say bibia nkomu a obi atimbe ye ne fine. So they say but niema ni bo ne kosuma say wo niema ye hu ye no na dansidie no so ameto ye no ya no toto e betutu nipa no a ye be wie emagidie mem say ebi purampo a nipa no anya de oye no. It media to say banisa no I would welcome it.
All right. Honorable, you better say, pass here no din come over Kessben TV so na face Kessben 92.9. You better say, pa bibi ni be back. You better say, the Honorable MP for Manhyia North, Honorable Akwasi Konadu, who is also the deputy ranking on lands and natural resources.